312 Comedy Festival, November 4th through the 9th at venues all across Chicagoland. Jeremiah Watkins coming here November 5th at Zany's in Chicago. I'm a huge fan, and thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
You were just in Chicagoland filming a special. You're coming here again. We got to get you a place here in Chicago. I feel like this is going to be your second home now.
I'm ready to move in, brother. Very excited. Yeah, the special taping went awesome. And I had to come back to Chicago, one of my favorite places in the country to perform.
We got Fortune Feimster, we have Polar Bear, we have a whole bunch of different people here for this festival. I mean, talk a little bit about what it's like to be part of this community performing at a festival like this. Not just maybe not your one-off shows or when you're on your regular tour, but to be able to be part of a special event here like this in Chicagoland.
Well, yeah, that's what's exciting about festivals is you get to perform with some of your friends or people you may not usually be on lineups with in other parts of the country. So we have a special stand up on the spot planned with some great guests, and it's always exciting to run into different comics, even at the hotel or at different shows or whatever. That's part of the fun and makes it feel like a little bit like a summer camp.
Let's talk a little bit about the community, because obviously, as I think about it, like musicians don't really do that, actors don't really do that, athletes don't really share that, but like you guys are on each other's podcasts, you're supporting each other on social media. We get to see you in all these different shows, whether it's with Mark Norman or Adam Ray or just people that you're always promoting, and just what that community is like, and especially fans get to learn about other comedians, through the work that you guys do, especially on social media.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate, me specifically, to have been a part of a lot of cool ensemble shows over the years. So I've had a pretty amazing time with different buddies over the years of being on their shows and then being on mine. And that's what's so fun about Stand Up on the Spot is my favorite part of that show is when I join after the comics take suggestions from the crowd solo, I join them on stage and we take suggestions together. So that's my favorite part, me getting to riff with friends and people who I respect and find hilarious and yeah, just try to come up with gold together.
There's a funny moment that I watch very often with you and John Stamos. Talk a little bit about how that moment came about, and what that was like to to put on that costume. And obviously, a lot of people have a lot of connections to Full House, and just be able to play into that. What was that moment like for you?
Some of the moments that I've gotten to do with my buddy Adam Ray on Dr. Phil Live, we are talking some bucket list comedy moments. And that was one of them where I got to dress up as a character from Full House and do a scene with John Stamos where he gave me one of those emotional pep talks, like where the violins are swelling and he got down on my level. Hey, bud, and just gave me this awesome speech. And it just heightened where then, he had to give a pep talk to Dr. Phil, then me and Dr. Phil. And it was just an incredible moment where a kid like me from Kansas would have never guessed that something like that would happen. Like somebody who I grew up with and watched every day after school. So it was a very cool moment for me, definitely.
I love that you get to have those bucket list moments. For yourself and for the audience, as well too. I think everyone, no matter what kind of day you're having or what kind of talk you need to have, I think having that violin, full house music, like it just makes things better.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Stand up on the spot. I mean, do you have your costumes? Are you tell me a little bit of what you're bringing to this show, and how our audiences in Chicago should get ready for this show on the 5th.
Just come with great suggestions. I always tell the crowds, yell out stuff you actually want the comedians to talk about and yell out stuff and suggest stuff that you haven't heard them talk about because you don't want to try to lead them into material. You want to make it new for that audience and you want to make it new for the comics. It's a two-way win when that works out, and it makes it a great symbiotic relationship when the audience is actually yelling out quality suggestions and not trying to be funny. You don't have to worry about being funny. Let the comics be funny with the suggestions. They will take what you are suggesting, and then that's our job to make it awesome.
AI Mark Norman. How did that? Oh,
Hey, hey.
I love
Comedy.
it. Like that just made my entire day.
He's the best.
Yeah.
Mark is the nicest. He is obviously one of the funniest comics in the game, and yeah, he has been sweet enough to entertain my AI Mark Normand a few times, even with him on stage. So he's awesome.
That is awesome. As far as like mentorship and what it's like to be around this community, obviously with Adam and with Mark and with with the other comics that you team up with. I mean, this type of support and the type of energy that you guys have together as a team. And I feel like that's like kind of we talked a little bit at the beginning where you don't really see that with musicians so much or actors or athletes. But you really see it in the comedy community, and I just love that like you get to learn about different comedians, you get to learn about different shows because of the way that everybody supports each other. Was that always like that for you in your career, or was that kind of something newish?
For me, it's always been because I've always gone out of my way to look for ways to collaborate with comics. I feel like that's one of my strengths as a comic is working off of other funny people and finding ways to enhance what they're doing and they enhance what I do. So stand up can be a very lonely sport and you can end up just being a road dog who's just headlining and you don't really see friends that much on the weekends, but I've really made it a mission with my comedy career to always work with friends as much as possible and try to enhance their shows as much as I can and have them do the same for me when I call in that favor. So that's been the goal over the years.
I want to talk a little bit about coming to Chicago for this festival because as audience members are going to be tossing out suggestions, it's very Chicago centric, and I think people are proud of the suggestions they're going to have. But I feel like do you have to study up and hot dogs and deep dish in our buildings and our celebrities in our town? Like what does that go like as far as like maybe some specific things that I think you feel like our Chicago audiences are going to get ready to start saying.
No, I try to, if it becomes too one note with the
Yeah.
suggestions, that's my job as the host and creator of the show and just seeing patterns and stuff like that with audiences. Because sometimes group mind takes over and it can be not the best for the show if it's one note. So that's when I coach them out of it. I'm like, hey guys, let's yell out some stuff that's not so local. Let's expand a little bit beyond this. So that's some of the stuff where sometimes I'll keep it in the episodes of the show. But sometimes that's some of the behind the scenes coaching that is more for the taping aspect where I'm like, hey, this is what we need out of you, kind of a thing. And if they're not doing that, I sometimes will break the fourth wall and be like, we're not getting what we need out of you. Keep
Yeah.
thinking you're doing great, but let's build upon this and think of other things that are not just brick wall behind me or the white men can't jump shirt that I'm wearing, so less surface stuff level and just thinking a little bit more.
Here. During pandemic time, I felt like so many comedians, like the visibility and the need for that just kind of like blew up. And just kind of what these last couple of years have been like, especially going into the different cities, posting things on social media, connecting with people who maybe, are excited to see a show or maybe live in a part of the US where, touring doesn't regularly happen, but to be able to bring smile and joy to people, sometimes on a daily basis, depending on, how often you're posting, but to be able to bring that joy to people who you never know when they're going to need it, but to be a source of that.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I mean, my goal with every show, any show that I do that I'm a part of comedically, is to give the audience at least a 90-minute or like an hour mental vacation from whatever they're going through in life. So if I can if I can appease that a little bit and make them feel good and forget about everything else and just live in the moment, that's what I'm all about. Living in the moment, baby, and making the most out of what we got right here in front of us right here right now.
Oh my goodness, you're the best. Thank you so much for your time today. Jeremiah Watkins coming to Zanies in Chicago, part of the 312 Comedy Festival, is going to be there November 5th, chicago.zanies.com. Go ahead and get those tickets. Enjoy yourself for that time. And thank you so much for your time today. And we're looking forward to that comedy special filmed in the Chicagoland area. Hopefully coming out sometime soonish.
Absolutely. Yeah, already starting to edit it. So let's go.
Awesome. Thank you for your time today.
Thanks, brother.
Bye.